Michael A. Sabo. Just a generic question. Does the township have a policy regarding political activity during work hours?
Yes.
What's the policy, Mr. Kennedy?
You don't do political activity on work hours.
Ooh. And,
You take your time, you have to take time off to do that.
and who is in charge of enforcing something like that?
Every department head would be.
Every department head. So, what's the penalty? Is it severe? Is it serious? Is it slap on the wrist?
And could result in disciplinary charges,
Such as,
which can be anything from reprimand, termination.
could it be considered theft of government services?
So they probably could be.
So who would enforce something like that?
Who would enforce?
Would that be
Enforce
you?
what?
A criminal
Criminal
charge?
charge?
No, just who would look into a disciplinary action like that?
If a credible allegation were to come to me, I'd investigate it and ask the department to look into it.
So you would investigate it under the department heads? I'm just trying to understand how the community cham works. I don't understand government. So who would investigate it on you?
On who?
On you?
On me?
Mhm.
I don't know.
You don't know? I mean, council could certainly with the mayor.
Are you making an allegation?
No, I didn't make any allegations. Don't get your panties in a bunch. I'm just asking questions. I simply ask questions. I'm just asking how it works, if there's a policy and how it's regarded. I'm not asking anything.
I've never known of an allegation against anybody.
There's never been any political activity done during township
Not
time?
that I know of, I don't know of any allegations.
Okay. So then, you don't know who enforces it on you? It would be possibly someone here? Okay. And then the same thing would go for the mayor as well? Who would enforce it there too?
Well,
Something like that.
council really wouldn't because they have no jurisdiction over the mayor.
Okay.
Would something like that go to the Department of Community Affairs?
Depending on what the allegation, it would depend on what the allegation is.
I mean, if a citizen is concerned about the actions of a political appointee,
Yeah, I just don't understand how the process
then
works.
probably that would need to go outside the administration, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it need to go to
Probably go to the state ethics board.
the state ethics board?
Alright.
But
Well,
if someone was doing that during township hours, that is theft of time. Because the CFO was allegedly released, suspended, because the mayor was taking theft of time very seriously. So is there a policy written somewhere? I think the handout,
It's in
the
the
handbook.
and the handbook that everybody signs, everybody knows. So everybody's
Yeah.
aware that there is a policy regarding that.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stable. Tammy?
Hi, I just have a couple things I'd like to mention. Earlier today, Mr. Tommy Duffy, 109 Sweetbriar, you made a comment about would a council member have to pay for an inspection?
Say again.
There was a comment made about an inspection, like if you had to have a house inspection of your house, council members would have to have it done by someone outside of the township.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and it was interesting, Mr. Ballant, your response was that, yes, you would have to do that. So why would you have to do that, but our mayor didn't have to do that for her own home? You don't have to answer that, but I just proposed that question.
The inspection, when the mayor bought her house, they were done by Rob himself.
It was?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. I have sent an application twice, June 2nd and 13th, to the animal shelter to try to be a volunteer. I have yet to get a response. When I've gone there to donate things, I talked to them about helping take photos of the animals. They tell me that they have photos of all the animals online, which is not true. Not all the animals are online. So I'm highly disappointed because we really want to make a positive impact as residents at the shelter to try and help. and I don't understand why I'm not getting a response.
I signed a whole bunch of applications for volunteers the other day. I'm
Was
sorry,
mine
Paul,
one?
if yours was in there or not, but I'll follow up on that.
Okay, thank you.
Tammy, we can park your time for a second. I'm trying to understand, why did they go to you?
Just to sign the contract that we have with people on our indemnification.
Okay.
That's the only reason I see them.
Okay. Sorry.
Also, I have solar on my house, so it didn't affect me, but the new energy through Constellation New Energy that residents could opt out of. My mom didn't get to opt out. She was automatically enrolled. My understanding, it requires a signature to be enrolled. So I'd like to know, to share with my mom, because she wasn't the only one this happened to, because then she called PSCNG to say, no, I didn't want this, I want out. So they are able to remove her, but not until July now. So in June, she's locked in and she has to do it. Why did that happen? Why didn't letters go out to residents that this was happening? Because a lot of residents are complaining they didn't get a letter that this was gonna happen. They were automatically enrolled.
Letters did go out to everyone, and the state program, the state statute requires that it's an opt-out program. Everyone is in unless they opt out. You can opt out at any time, at any point in time. And so, but letters went to every utility user, except those with solar power cannot be part of the program.
Understood, but there's so many people, and you may want to check with PSCNG, because when people are calling PSCNG to get out, because they didn't want to be put in it, PSCNG is saying, yes, we're getting a lot of phone calls that are like this. So I think there's probably people behind me that can support this as well.
Tammy, did you say there's a problem with getting your mother out of the program?
No, she's out of it, but the problem is you're locked in it for that. I'm just bringing it up, it seemed like there was something broken in the process. And then in final note, I sent you all an email about the storm drains. Did you see the photo? So that's really disturbing. And that's not the only storm drain that looks like that in Cornell Heights. That goes directly to our waterways. That's tar and asphalt going right into our waterway. I don't understand why people couldn't have taken due diligence to do this properly. So what will be the remediation to fix all of that? Because it's throughout the entire neighborhood.
That's on Laura Drive.
Yeah. That one photo I took, yeah.
And where the drainage is, the asphalt is that an inch and a half in some cases, like really high up. So I run by there and I'm just curious as, when I look there is, who actually approved the final product? That's the question. Who inspected Laura Avenue, Laura Drive?
Yeah.
And who approved it?
Was that work done by the township or by a contractor?
There were
There were township
I think Laura
trucks.
Drive was done by the township.
Yeah, there were township trucks there. They're still there.
Yeah.
For basic.
Yeah. And then my final is, I saw the articles about Mr. Plunkett and the whole double job thing. So I guess would this hold true for Mr. Flynn, because he is the Director of IT, Director of Economic Development, Chief of Staff? It doesn't hold true for him. It's
No,
different.
specific to the health officer and the health director.
Okay.
Well, my understanding is it's specific to if you hold a civil service job and a non-civil service job. So chief of staff isn't on our books as a position.
And
The mayor's just named that as, I guess, an additional assignment. So it's not holding two positions, one civil service, one non.
But Director of IT and Director of Economic Development, same thing?
The ordinance puts those two together
Got it.
under one.
Oh,
Just like recreation, senior services, there's a bunch of things that fall under one director there.
okay, all right. So are we gonna fix the tar and asphalt shenanigan?
Dave,
I just saw the letter today, I'll reach out.
Okay,
I forwarded to Mr. Carruthers and I'll speak to him.
okay, all right.
Frank G.
Frank Gillespie, 71 Village Drive East. First, I'd like to start off by saying I'm not speaking for the FMBA, I'm speaking on my own. Last Tuesday, about 20 to 25 of the Township FMBA members went to Veterans Park to the 9/11 Memorial and the Firefighters Memorial. because we wanted the conditions of the memorial itself. When we were there, it's actually very disheartening to see how the area looked. It's quite deplorable. So we started cleaning it up. Weeds overgrew, which I guess were one-time flower beds. There was weeds coming up through all the pavers and the walkway and the area surrounding the memorial itself. And there was actually probably at least a half-inch of mud on those pavers also. Which more disheartening to me is the attitude that we got, not only from Mr. Kenny, but from the gentleman from Public Properties, I guess it is. That memorial means a lot to us, and it should be a priority to keep that area looking presentable, especially being in Veterans Park. It's, you know, the township's largest park. And it's also more important to me, I guess, because I responded on 9/11. Also, I'm originally from Jersey City, so where I grew up. I had a perfect view of the Twin Towers, and that day I was actually stationed at the very same medical center, which was directly across the street from my childhood home. So I'm looking at my childhood home, and the large column is still to my right-hand side. But I think it's an area that should be, you know, upkept. I know a lot of parks are looking horrible, especially the one in my neighborhood. The grass line gets cut maybe once every 3 weeks, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
Frank, I'm sorry, what attitude did you get?
I can't remember the gentleman's name, but I believe it was the director of public properties. For some reason, he thought it was like personal against him that we were cleaning up, or trying to make it look good. In fact, the guys dipped into their pockets to buy mulch and stuff, and the one guy's a landscaper, so he bought all his equipment over. So we cleaned it up real nice. I mean, of course, you know, we would have liked to do more, but, you know, there's only so much, you know, that we can ask the members, you know, for to reach into their pocket. And Mr. Kent felt, you know, something political. To me, it has nothing to do with politics, you know.
How do you know he felt it was political?
Because a couple of gentlemen there, I'm sure if he wants to say, had a couple, you know, T-shirts on that represented a, you know, opposing party, so.
The issue was, we received no notice that anybody was going to show up there to do something. We had people there cutting grass. Obviously, it's been a very rainy year. It's difficult to cut grass. We have 43 parks. So they had 2 fire trucks were there, large landscape vehicle, and quite a few men, and they were doing things to work on the area, which would have been fine if they had contacted us. It turns out now that they laid down mats to kill all the flowers that had been planted, so those flowers are gone. But all we needed was advance notice, and we'd be happy. You know, we work with other groups. We work with Eagle Scouts all the time in the park. We work with other groups that come in. We'll be happy to work with the FMBA on it. It's just that there was no advance notice. We already had people there.
Did you show up?
Did I go? Yeah, I went over there, to see what was happening. I was asked to go over there.
Did you give them an attitude?
Well, I just told them, we need advance notice. You know, we have insurance issues. What if somebody gets hurt?
And that's fine, that's understandable, but I would have thought that when I saw the video of it, I would have thought, my first reaction was how embarrassing that these men felt so, it was embarrassed that that memorial was in the shape that it was. So they were out doing their part because 9/11 is connected to many of them personally. And for the township to then come in and, well, you need insurance, the first reaction to it then, gentlemen, I'm so sorry. We're going to get to it. This was on the schedule. We apologize. Instead, it's the opposite.
Well, you weren't there.
No, I wasn't there, but I heard
And I spoke with Mr. Kruger. I had a good conversation. Mr. Kruger apologized for not giving us advance notice. And I said, look, I'm not going to tell you to leave. Go ahead and finish up. So,
Just one more thing, I can guarantee there was no flowers planted there because with the amount of weeds that overgrew that area, they would have never popped up anyway, so.
And how would you know there were plants planted there?
I was told that by Public Works
So you
people.
were told, just like I was told what happened there by people out there.
Well, Mrs. Sherman, you're going on what you're told. I mean, what, do you expect me to go out and know where every flower is planted in Hamilton Township?
Same thing, going out by what you're told. I just think it's despicable that our firefighters felt that way, that they had to take that action because the town township failed to take the right
I
action.
was concerned that there were 2 fire trucks there. That's certainly a concern, that they had left their stations.
I can answer that. I don't have it, but I can answer it for you real quick if you want.
Should just keep it quick.
They had permission from the chief, and also it's first and second due engine company for that area, so there was
Chief
direction.
Kramer said he didn't know anything about it,
Well,
but he told us.
Chief Tazi was out there. That's all.
Thank you, Frank. Mr. Rosenthal.
Larry Rosenthal, 123 Beach Avenue.
A lot of injuries tonight.
But we come anyway.
It's all the rain.
Yeah, with this leg, I came out, including the rain, to present an issue. At 130 Edward Avenue, there's a sewer grate that somehow is connected with PSC&G project. Okay, that sewer grate is a disaster, and somebody's going to get hurt, probably the resident of the home, because it's held up by bricks. Okay, the asphalt around it is completely deteriorated. Also at the corner of Beach and Exton, that sewer overflows on a heavy rain like this.
The storm drain does?
Yes, it does. And if you go by there, that project looks like PSE&G is starting to put in a pool. Okay? There's about 3 to 4 inches of water there. I live over there. The residents live over there. It's a mosquito breeding habitat. Now, somehow or other, and I've been in touch with the sewer department, they said that these 2 sewers are connected to the PSE&G project. Whether or not that's true or not, I don't know. But the one at 130 Edward Avenue, let me tell you something. If I was a homeowner over there and I had my car going back and forth over that grate, I'd be praying every time I passed over it. So I think that needs addressing tomorrow. Okay? Point of information, tonight there was supposed to be the flag retirement ceremony. It's been postponed to July 18th. Usually American Legion does it in connection with Mercer County. And if you don't think we have an interest in that, it's held at Veterans Park. Our fire department responds very nicely. Okay, our public works people dig a nice hole. It'll be July 18th. And for those council people who don't know, or anybody in the audience, the Mercer County Office of Veterans Affairs on Hamilton Avenue, Hamilton Township has an interest in that building because years ago, over $100,000 of community development block grant money was put into that building. So there is a connection there. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Dave. The 2 properties